Welcome back to Life's a Bitch. Get a helmet. I'm Fry,
I'm Jim.
and today we're going to talk about the first time that Jimbo here, recognized that he was starting to feel depressed and anxiety was kicking in.
Yeah, so this is probably the first time when it got like real bad, to where I knew if I didn't do something soon, very bad things could possibly happen. So it was definitely a critical situation, I would say. So when where we'll kind of start this story off with, I was active duty in the Army. This is post Germany. All right, so my unit had just went over there, did a 9-month rotation. So not combat, for those of you that don't aren't in. This
It was a
is
mob.
Yeah.
Just a regular tour.
Yeah, we don't count it as deployment. We just say we did a rotation.
Yeah.
And so we went over there, and I was over there from June of 2018 to late February, beginning of March 2019. So after I went home on leave in March of 2019 and came back to the Springs, bad things happened. My wife at the time left me, which I will just leave that one at that, because it's a whole nother spiel we could get into, and we just don't have time.
We don't need to get into the details of that.
Right. Just know that's kind of what
It sucked.
Yeah, it sucked. It sucked ass. And so basically we were what they call like redeploying. So when you're getting all your shit back, you're unpacking crap, you're inventorying everything, you are doing all these things that you have to do when you come back. So shit's pretty fucking chaotic. I'm dealing with the whole, wife leaving me after I just fought off divorce in Germany, which really sucked. And it was bad. I would come home to my little apartment that I had off post, and I had a neighbor that I would just. Oh.
Hi, do you guys have this reserved?
No.
So I had this neighbor, and I would give him, like $100 or $40, $50, whatever, and I'd have him go buy me a bottle of Jack Daniels, and they weren't like those little airplane shooters or like the little ones that almost look like a flask.
Right.
They were I guess they're 20 ounces or 22 ounces, something. I don't know. They're decent size. And I used to go through damn near a whole one, like almost every night. And so I would come home. I would take care of a Malamute that I had at the time, who, I mean, even though it doesn't sound like I was probably doing too great, he was the one thing that kind of like kept me attached to the somewhat sane world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd take care of him, feed him water and whatever, walk him, and then I'd just sit down and I'd drink. I'd just listen to music. And then I wouldn't sleep until, like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then after that, I would wake up at, 4:30 and start my day, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and start my day again.
Right.
And then go to PT and deal with all the bullshit that we were dealing with at work, get home late, whatever, and just I would just keep going like that, and going and going and going and going, and not sleeping and drinking and not sleeping and drinking, and it was just like it was getting to a point where, I mean, I would usually fall asleep before anything bad happened. Like, I never usually got sick. And as odd as that sounds, I would normally just fucking fall asleep. But it was getting to a point where I would drink and not really care whether or not I woke up, like, the next day. And I think that was kind of like the hidden goal there, because I don't like pain. And that's always one of those big questions that people have when they think about hitting the exit button is, will it hurt? Will I actually feel whatever it is that I'm about to do, or is it kind of like the lights are just going to go out and whatever happens, happens, right?
Right.
So, but with like drinking, or they say even like freezing to death is kind of like just like fucking going to sleep.
Yeah.
I know that people that have seen people that die from alcohol poisoning, apparently it's very violent with seizures and stuff like that. But I highly doubt the person that is the one intoxicated and under the influence of the alcohol poisoning actually realizes what's happening to them. So, that was kind of the hidden goal, I guess, with that. And I kept going like that for about 3 months. And I was chain smoking, heavy drinking, not sleeping. It was bad. And finally, I remember the fucking day, man. It was actually shaping up to be a pretty decent day, but for me at the time, I didn't have good days. There was no such thing as a good day. And there ended up being a couple of the NCOs that I grew rather close with, that would run interference for me, or just give me that advice and help me when shit got rough in Germany, through all the divorce crap. It was like them two, and then my buddy that was my roommate in Germany, and a few other smokers and stuff, and it was the end of the day, and they technically released us, so we were all just outside having a cigarette, bullshitting, shooting the breeze. Sounds like it'd be a pretty lax thing, like, hey, all right, cool, yeah, woo. And then, finally everybody starts parting ways, and I had intentions to talk to the guy that is, he did his 20 and he's out now, he's retired. I won't say his name or anything, but
Right.
that person, who was he was an E6, so we'll just call him the E6. So the E6,
He's your NCO.
yeah,
He's my guy.
right, yeah, that's my dude. That's my dude when it comes to leaders.
Yep.
That's my man, and I had intentions to talk to him because this dude, he'd been through the best and the worst of the Army. Like, if there's anything that you wanted to talk to somebody about and wonder if they could relate, he's probably one of the few that can relate to a lot of the situations soldiers have been through. When it comes to combat, he's done a lot of combat, tours plus just time and rotating.
Yep.
So anyway, he's my guy. So I had intentions of talking to him, and finally everybody's parting ways, and it's just my roommate from Germany, that's my battle boo. That's my battle boo.
Right.
So there's my battle boo, and E6 standing there, and they go to walk away. And the entire time, keep in mind, I've gone through, in about this 30, 40-minute time span, I have probably knocked out, 3/4 of a pack. I finished off the last half a pack of one, and then I was just bumming my battle boo's fucking smokes. And so I was chain smoking the entire time. Like, that's how bad this shit was. And I could see him staring at me, and like he could just see, like, I had dark rings under my eyes, almost just
He
looked
read
like,
your face.
Huh?
He read your face.
Yeah, just read my face. Dark rings under my eyes. I looked like the blood vessels
Yep.
yeah. I mean, that's what I looked like every fucking day, but I still took showers and everything, but it's just the lack of sleep and the constant drinking. I just looked like hammered shit. But, so anyway, so they go to walk away, and I look at him. I said, hey, Sergeant, can I talk to you for a second? He's like, yeah, sure. What's up, buddy? And then, like, I raised my head to look up at him, and my eyes met his eyes, and I fucking crumbled. Like, that was it. I just started fucking bawling.
Yep.
And out of just fucking nowhere, and it was just like totally out of nowhere because I was laughing and smiling, not but 10, 15 minutes prior. And
It's a
all of a
lot to hold
sudden,
on to.
yeah, and for 3 months, and that's all I did for 3 months. I was just holding all that shit inside. I wasn't talking to anybody because my mentality at the time was, okay, so say I talk to you, I tell you everything's not okay. The fuck are you gonna do about it? There's nothing you can do. You can't bring her back. You can't
Right.
make the shit suck any fucking less. You can't make our world any less shitty. Like, so why the fuck would I even talk to you about it? Why the fuck would I waste my fucking time? So that was kind of my mentality. So for 3 months, I'm just holding all this shit in. And so then, uh, he's like, he doesn't freak out. Like, he handled it really well. He was just like, oh my gosh, like, bro, are you okay? Like, are you all right, man? Like, don't worry. Like, come here, I got you. Just sit down right here on the curb. I've got you. Don't worry. Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. And so he calms me down. He gets me sitting on the curb, and he's like, what's going on? Like, what? That was just like totally out of left field. Like, what's happening with you right now? And my battle boost's still there, and my staff's there. And so they sit me down on this curb, and finally I managed to be not coherent, but what would the word be? I managed to enunciate through the tears and the blubbering and whatnot enough that I just got out. Like, I'm fighting for my fucking life. Like, I'm fighting to stay alive, and every day is a struggle to find a reason to actually get up out of bed, or well, really off my couch, because I couldn't sleep in my bed after she left. Like, it just fucking felt weird, so I was just sleeping on my couch.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, my apartment became a living room, kitchen, and one bathroom because I didn't touch the fucking bedroom. Like, I just didn't. Yeah, like, so I was like, that's and that's kind of how my behavioral health treatment got started, because after that day, he this guy, I mean, he really fucking deserves props, because he was like, okay, he said, right now we don't need to do this at work, not because I have a problem with it, but because I know there's people around that do have a problem with this. He's like, so here's what you're gonna do. Like, they calmed me down and everything. They got me to quit crying. And he's like, here's what you're gonna do. Did your dog tear up your stuff at night? I said, no. He said, okay, you're gonna go home. You're gonna feed and water your dog. You're gonna walk your dog. You're gonna put your dog up. Then you're gonna pack a bag. You're gonna come over to my house. You're gonna stay with me and my family, and we're gonna talk, and you're gonna tell me everything. Like, lay it all fucking on me. He's like, I've got some beer. We'll fucking hang out. I'll buy you cigarettes. My wife is actually a pretty damn good cook. Like, so, and we're gonna hang out. It's the weekend. Don't worry. Like, we're gonna figure this shit out, bro. And then he texted my actual squad leader, because he used to be and he wasn't anymore. But again, he ends up being, he's still my guy, And he texts my squad leader. And he's like, hey, I'm taking him off your hands for about a week or two. I'm gonna take care of him because he needs some help. I'm taking care of him. If you have any problems, we'll go talk to Sergeant Major. Like, and that was just, I saw that text and I was like, oh shit, fuck. And the entire time I'm sitting there going, oh my god, this is gonna make things so much worse for me, and it never did. But that's kind of how everything got started. But I knew that if I didn't say something to someone, bad things were going to happen. And I kind of knew that when I was just cracking bottle after bottle after bottle, not wanting to feel anything, and then getting tired of feeling nothing. So then I would take like burning hot showers, because feeling that burning hot water on your skin is better than feeling fucking nothing. And then hoping you're able to fucking...
The physical pain's way more bearable than emotional pain.
Yeah, which is, but then the numbness, I also kind of knew when every day I was just going through the motions. Like, I would lose track of hours of time. and like it'd be like 1300 or 1 o'clock. For those that don't go by military time.
For you non-military.
Yeah, for you non-military time people. 1 p.m. And then it felt like I would like blink my eyes, and then it would be 2:33, and I wouldn't remember the last like 2 hours. I'd have to ask my battle boo like,
dude, what time is it?
Yeah,
what time is it?
What time is it, and what have we been doing? Like, I don't remember. Like, how did I get here? Like, am I in trouble? Did I fuck up in any way? Or no, dude, you've just been cleaning and doing inventory. Like, you've been fine.
Muscle memory kicked in.
Yeah, it was just...
You spaced the fuck out and muscle memory kicked in.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things the military teaches us, because when you want to freak out, or you're in the middle of something and you want to freak out, your body says, this is what I need to do. At which point, by the end of it, you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, and it kind of helps you like compartmentalize the shit, and and then it's just after a while, it just got to be too much. I always thought that coming up through basic training, the Army and our instructors taught us, it doesn't matter whether you get shot in the foot or hit over the head with a lead pipe or get blown up or run over or whatever, you fucking keep fighting until you have nothing left,
Yep.
So I thought I was doing the right thing by just fucking toughening up, fucking dealing with it in a way that I knew how to deal with it, which was drink myself into fucking oblivion and still be able to do my job.
And then try and kill your lungs.
Yeah, and then killing my lungs with the every day, and that's the other thing. I didn't really have much of an appetite. I might have eat like a small thing like once a day. Like I fucking lost a good amount of weight. I think at one point I was down to like 136, 135. Like it was bad.
You're skinny now. What the fuck?
That's the thing. Now I'm like in the 150, 152 range. So imagine me, about 20 pounds lighter than this, and you can imagine just how fucking skinny I was.
I haven't been that in ages.
Yeah, right. So, but I thought, caffeine, nicotine. I'm a fucking soldier. I can fucking handle this shit. Like, fuck it.
So essentially, you got to a point that one, I don't want to live, but I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I need to talk to someone.
Yeah, it was kind of that day at work, when I finally got around to talking to him, it was kind of like that come to Jesus moment, if you will, where you kind of have to like, you come to that fork in the road where it's like, okay, I can keep going like I'm going, and I will probably end up fucking dead. And if that's really what I want, I just need to keep on doing what I'm fucking doing. And I'll either I will have a mental breakdown and someone or something will catch it. And in the unit that I was in, depending on what would have happened during the mental breakdown, bad things would have continued to happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Which I did kind of explore a little bit of that later in my Army career, but I'm sure we might get into that another time. Two, nobody catches a mental breakdown, and then I just fucking hit ejecto cuz and I'm out. Or I can take the road that seems to be less traveled by, I would say, by military members, which is to fucking talk to somebody and admit that I don't want to die. As much as I want to die, I don't want to fucking die.
Right.
I have too much that I want to do, even if it's just motorsports related shit, like fucking go ride Thunder Valley. Like, I have too much that I still want to do.
Oh.
And I had to admit that to myself and be like, okay, it's like in that movie, right? Pixels. When the kid tells Adam Sandler, pretend you're the guy and you don't want to die. What do? I gotta talk to my guy, which was the staff, and he just happened to come along at the right fucking time that day because they called him over to ask him about some aircraft shit that was going on. Because, I mean, he's a phenomenal fucking mechanic. Absolutely brilliant. And they called him over, and then, of course, after they released this, he ends up bullshitting with a bunch of us, you know, talking about this, that, and the other thing. And I just managed to stick around and hang on just long enough that I was able to pull him around to the side and, you know, be like, hey, you know, can I talk to you for a second? And then, like I said, when my eyes met his, it was just fucking game over, spilling the beans, just, yeah.
Yeah.
It was rough. I definitely will say that if I could go back, I would not have put myself through that 3 months again, because that was it was like just a personal hell, you know, curated for me. You know, nightmares every fucking night, emotional numbness. I mean, it fucking sucked. One of my favorite sayings is it sucked rhinoceros cock in the moonlight. I mean, it was bad. And, you know, during that time, I noticed that, you know, I was dealing with a lot of, like, elevated heart rate, shit like that, just all the fucking time. It was weird. It was like this emotional fucking roller coaster, if you will, where, like, I knew my body was fucking always just ramped up from the stress and the anxiety, but my emotions and my face said absolutely fucking dead. You know, it was fucking weird because it's like totally opposite planes of existence, just going. Somehow managing to survive and coexist in the same body. That was me.
Yeah. No joy in anything.
No, absolutely not. You know, again, my dog at the time, R.I.P. He ended up having to be put down years after the fact. He was no longer in my possession, which is sad. But he was kind of like my tether to the sane world, and it was kind of like when I knew that wasn't going to work anymore. That's when
He was your official
emotional support.
Yep.
Yeah.
Support animal.
But I also, at the time, I had a dirt bike. I had a 2004 YZ 254 stroke. So it was old carbureted tank, but I love that machine. And even still, the only thing that I would actually get whenever I would manage to couple the money together to afford to go riding, between maintenance and fuel and admissions to riding parks and whatnot, I would find myself riding way beyond my limits, doing shit that I had absolutely no fucking business doing, not caring whether or not I came down wrong. Because, you know, the hardest part I learned about going off of a jump is making it all the way up the ramp. But once you're in the air, you don't give a fuck. So I learned very quickly that as long as I just like closed my eyes right before I fucking hit the base of the ramp and opened them right as I took off the top, I didn't give a shit. I'd fucking hit every one of them. I didn't care. You know? So I'd be riding out there way beyond my limits, just fucking getting the anger and the hate out, but there was no joy in it. There was no happiness in it. There was no oh my gosh, this is fun.
Yeah.
It was run myself ragged, and goddamn it, if I fucking eat shit, I hope someone catches it on camera. 1, 2, I hope it, you know, I don't get up.
So, when the many damn years I've been in so far, and I'm assuming at some point you've had to, during your redeployment back home, they sat you guys down for the death by PowerPoint for behavioral, emotional, spiritual, all the pillars for good mental health, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you have the ACE cards.
Yep.
You know, and are you thinking of killing yourself?
Right.
And everybody forgets there's a second question to that, which is something that should have been asked to you, actually. Are you considering putting yourself in harm's way?
Right.
That would result in you not living anymore.
Right.
Which is that's
Yeah,
big one for me.
Yeah, that pretty much would have been that one, and even then, you know, those questionnaires, those things that they give us, the fucking death by PowerPoint, all that crap, you know, none of it. You know, when we went through it, I knew I was feeling like shit, but to them, you know, the hard reality of it is that everybody, and those of you that are in, will probably understand this. The hard reality of it is that, you know, to a lot of the people that are high up, I'm not saying all, but to a lot of that, you know, redeployment stuff and things like that, and all those PowerPoints and crap like that, that's check the box, right? Like, we've all been there, we've all done that, we all know, you know, we all...
Yep, check the box.
Yeah, we all
Numbers
know
game.
it's check the box, so, like, why in the fuck would I cause myself potential flack by checking, you know, the yes to
Also, and
any of those?
we can discuss more, but I will bring this up, and maybe this one will be our next episode, because when we're redeploying, we're coming back home, it's, I don't want to fucking be here. Hell no, I'm fine. I'm good. Nah, I ain't saying shit, because I want to go home and see my family. I want to go home and do whatever the fuck I've been told what to do for the last X amount of time. Fuck you, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm not
no,
gonna
I'm
say,
good. Whatever I'm dealing with, I'll deal with at home.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything that's going to cause me to stay here any fucking...
Right.
For any more length of time than I absolutely fucking have to be here.
At which point, it's not until, you know, hindsight, we probably should have said something.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you didn't have to stay.
Yeah.
Just so it was fucking documented.
Yeah, at least then it would have been, you know, somebody would have said something.
That's definitely a whole other topic.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I would gladly go into that next time. But,
Yeah.
So, in other words, I don't want to live, but I want to die. You talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody you trusted.
Oh, yeah. Wholeheartedly. Yeah.
At which point you're like, I have to say something now.
Yeah, otherwise...
Or tomorrow's not going to happen.
Right, or it just may not. Or, you know, because we were coming up on a weekend, that's 2 days. That's 48 hours where I don't have to be around a fucking soul.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was like I have to talk to someone or say something to somebody because I don't know what these next 48 hours are going to bring. Like,
right.
And again, I don't want to live, but I sure as hell don't want to fucking die either, you know? So yeah, I just managed to finally catch that one person I fucking trusted, you know, more than anybody with, you know, that kind of information. And I'm thankful that I did, you know, and that's one of those things that when it comes to the Army and mental health, I want to sit here and tell everybody that no matter what, if you fucking need to talk to somebody, fucking talk to somebody. Anybody.
And
at the same time, due to what happened, you know, in the coming years after that situation, or after that, you know, in continuing my behavioral health treatment and down the line, I found out what happens when you are around or talk to, say, the wrong people, although it wasn't my fault that I talked to those wrong people. I didn't know that those were going to be the wrong people to talk to, and I think that's another topic we can get into, you know, later down the line. Is a lot of the reasons that, you know, soldiers don't fucking talk to people is because you never know who's going to be the right person to talk to versus somebody who's going to...
Once you've... I feel like most everybody knows who that one person is they could go to.
Right, yeah, and that's the thing, I'm sure.
It's the after the fact where you're finally accepting everything going on, and you've made a decision to work through it, find a way to keep going,
Yeah.
and continue on with your life to see what's next. That's when we kind of meet the wrong people, and
Yeah, and that's what happened basically is way after, you know, again, this initial fucking breakdown, whatever you want to call it. That's when I was meeting the wrong people. But yeah, I definitely, everybody needs that person in their fucking corner that, like, you just know that you can tell anything to that person, and they're gonna do their best to help you. They're going to, and they're not gonna fuck you over. They're gonna, you know, you can talk to them in confidence, and they'll keep your confidentiality, and they'll also do their fucking damnedest to fucking take care of you. Because I know that if I wouldn't have had a person like that, yeah, I don't know where I would be. So
Right.
everybody needs that person. If you've got that person and you need to fucking talk to somebody, hit them up. Like, please do. Fucking do not, please, for the love of God and all that is holy, or whatever it is you believe in. I don't give a shit. Don't keep going because you think you can handle it, or because you think that, oh, I've always dealt with it myself, I'll fucking deal with it myself
Right.
again. Because that's kind of what happened through Germany and stuff. And then all of a sudden this time, for a span of 90 days or so, I thought I handled it the last time, you know, I'll just handle it again. And I couldn't handle it again. You know, just because you have in the past before doesn't mean you can again. You know,
Right.
the shit wears on you. It just breaks you down. It
Does.
tears at your physical health just as much as it does your mental health. And eventually something's going to give. It's either going to be your body or your mind. And for me, I really think the two were kind of running right parallel, dead even with each other on which one was going to give out first.
for me, it was my mind.
Yeah.
At which point, and we'll discuss my stuff another time.
Mm-hmm.
For me, you know, I'm pretty much a go-getter, go, 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 go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I fucked up. I take it really hard.
Yeah.
I found a way to shorten the time span of taking it really hard and just driving on. And over the past couple of years, it's like I'm tired. I'm just tired.
Yeah, you just
And I'm tired of feeling tired. So that's. I think we covered it in a couple other. The first one where I was honest on
Yeah.
the fucking PHA, the periodic health assessment,
yeah.
and that kind of started everything because I was tired of being tired.
Yeah, it was what was I will say, after, you know, that initial event when I got admitted into behavioral health shortly thereafter. So when you get I don't know how it goes in the civilian side with seeing a therapist, because I don't use, like, I don't do therapy anymore, not because I think anything ill of it. I'm just kind of lazy and I have a lot going on, you know, so I'm like,
They have virtual stuff now.
yeah, but even then I'm like,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
fucking
doing.
Texting's a bitch, right? Like, I don't know how it works when in civilian therapy, so maybe some listeners might tell us, you know, the intake process. But in active duty, excuse me, or you know, the military anyway, and the way that they did it with me, is when you start behavioral health, you go through an intake process, and you get this big ass sheet. I mean, it is a chore and a half, but at least you are at the behavioral health facility when you're filling all this stuff out. So they're there to help you and everything and walk you through it and tell you if you have questions, you know, whatever, you get them answered. In this sheet, basically, it rates you on a score on a scale of like 1 to 5, and then it averages everything in those categories to give you your final scale score. So one thing I learned is most combat vets, you know, that have been like OIF 1 guys, you know, early 2000s, early Global War on Terror dudes, or
Gee, what?
yeah, or like like Vietnam War guys, you know, the people that have probably really seen some really fucked up and bad shit. You know, the kind of stories that just make you almost cry out of empathy of, you know, when you hear about them or read them.
If they hear about them.
Right, if they hear about them or read them. Those guys usually score anywhere from like 3.7 all the way up to like 4.8 to 5, you know. When I was dead honest on on that evaluation sheet, and, you know, was just honest with them when I filled it out, that when they averaged up my score, I think I was at like a 4.2 something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was fucking ridiculous. I was like, holy shit, how the hell did I fucking score up there with combat guys? Like, this isn't fucking right. And then later, down the line, I learned that, you know, I finally got my diagnosis, and I was diagnosed with anxiety, depression, adjustment disorder, and insomnia, which most of us know what depression, anxiety, and insomnia is, but a little lesser known one, or one that people don't necessarily think about or consider, is adjustment disorder. So,
Same. I got that one too.
Adjustment disorder, for those of you that don't know, basically adjustment disorder can take an unpleasant event or situation, and it kind of amplifies the unpleasantness. So, for instance, when my ex-wife left me, it literally felt like somebody had fucking died. Like, no, she's very much alive, you know, to this day and everything. She's very much alive and well. I can text her whatever if I wanted to.
If I wanted to.
But, you know,
but
to me, you know, at that time, the amount of emotional pain and loss that I experienced was the equivalent of what it would be like if you lost a very close family member to death.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I've witnessed, you know, very close family dying, and I didn't really shed a tear. I was kind of just like, okay, well, now what? Like, I'm sad, but I'm not, you know, oh my God, you know, beside myself. But then all of a sudden, you know, I'm dealing with all this crap, you know, work and ex-wife leaving and all this shit, and I'm fucking just hammering myself into the fucking grave little by little, just digging myself a 6-foot hole. And I learned a lot about how my brain functions and what I can and can't handle when it comes to stressors and stuff like that. And that's the other thing, you know, in my story, I will tell you that I was one of those guys that thought, I ain't seen combat. I ain't seen shit. I ain't got a right to feel this fucking way. But in going through the behavioral health treatment, I learned that everybody can take different things. There's guys that can go through combat and, you know, they come back with some really dark humor and some fucked up stories, but...
I'd rather go through combat than deal with life.
Right, you know, there's guys like that, and there's guys that would rather deal with life than see 5 seconds of combat. You know, everybody handles different things according to how their brain works and how their personal beliefs are and whatnot. So just because you think you haven't, you know, seen some shit or been through some shit, that doesn't mean you're not fucking hurting, and that doesn't mean you don't have a right to treatment to get better so you can stay alive.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't mean any of that. It just means that you haven't been through what someone else has, but in the same breath, they haven't been through what you have. And
it's no less important.
Right. You know, just because there's an analogy that someone once taught me. You have a broken leg, right? And it hurts like a son of a bitch. This is a broken fucking leg. Well, I've got 2 broken legs, and it hurts like a motherfucker. But it doesn't make your broken leg that hurts like a son of a bitch any less important or any less painful to you than my 2 broken legs that hurts like a motherfucker. Your broken leg still fucking hurts. Just like my 2 broken legs still fucking hurt. So in conclusion, if you have a fucking broken leg, and you know you have a fucking broken leg, this is rhetorical. Like this I'm using this as an analogy for your emotions and mental health here. Okay, so anybody that doesn't get it, if you have a fucking broken leg, please go to your person. Go to them, fucking talk to them, break down, cry, get it out, whatever. Be honest. Do not keep it all in and then make someone find you swinging in your fucking apartment, because you went ahead and hit the eject button.
Help is out there.
Yes, it is.
And one thing I had to understand was it doesn't matter if the person you're talking to understands or not, as far as therapists. What matters is that you actually talk and get it out.
Yeah.
Because the longer you hold on to it, the longer you let it eat you up inside, you're screwed. You're screwing yourself over.
Yeah, and eventually, again, something's going to break. It's going to be your mind or it's going to be your body.
Yep.
So yeah, that's been my story time. That's been the first time and some surrounding events and stuff that I knew that I needed help and how it kind of unfolded. So again, in conclusion, don't hold that shit in. Fucking talk to somebody. Even if it's as little as your dog getting into the trash and you couldn't fucking handle it, that might be a cue that, hey, I need to talk to somebody.
Because that's
a pretty minor event.
It's
like,
a minor event, and
right.
I'm flipping the fuck out.
Yeah, so I might need to talk to somebody about what's been going on, So yeah, go to your person, go to somebody, call the, I think we've mentioned the number before. What was the number?
988.
988.
And I plan on adding in some links in the description for any type of assistance you need. Just remember to do it. That's all you gotta do. Personally, I know that when you're ready, you'll know it, and that's when you'll do it. So, if you're sitting here listening to this and you're like, shit, I totally understand. I totally get that. It's time. It's time to go talk to somebody.
Yep, it might just be time for you to pretend you're the guy and you don't want to fucking die.
Yep. So, thanks for listening. This is another episode of Life's a Bitch. Get a helmet.